Hey, what's happening, YouTubers? We're back with a brand new unboxing video, and today's unboxing video is another DC Retro review. This time we're going to take a look at the NECA Real Toys Batman Begins figure. Now, this was originally released in 2016, I believe, and it was back when NECA still had the DC license to make 7-inch figures, while Mattel was still producing the 6-inch scale figures with their DC Multiverse line. Now, this was also during a time when NECA was making other Batman figures, like they did the Retro 66 Adam West Batman, as well as the 89 Keaton Batman. Now, in the current state of 2022, I think NECA still has the DC license, but for certain figures, like they do the prop materials like the Batarang or the gun or stuff like that, but they can no longer make like 7-inch scale figures because that line belongs to McFarlane Toys on the DC Multiverse line. Now, enough about all that. Like we always do with our unboxing videos, whether it's a retro review, a brand new unboxing video, McFarlane Toys Tuesday, or whatever the hell it is, let's get started with the box art first. So on the front of the packaging, you see the image of Batman on the lower left-hand corner, and to the right of it, you see the Batman Begins movie logo, as well as the bat symbol, and a couple other bats flying around in it with Gotham City below it. And on the right side of the packaging, you see the Batman Begins logo at the top with Gotham City below it, and Christian Bale's Batman, and as well as like other white silhouette bats there. And on the left side of the packaging, you see the exact same thing on the top, just with a different pose on the figure, and still those silhouette bats on the bottom. And on the back of the packaging, you see the full artwork of the Batman figure, the Batman Begins movie title logo on the top, Gotham City behind him, those bats around him again, and then there's a little info on Batman. Feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. And then on the bottom it says includes 2 sets of hands, 2 different Batarangs, Grappling Gun, and gun clip. And what's interesting about this is on the top it says image of prototype shown, final product may vary. And on the bottom of the box, this is something I found interesting. It gives credit to the figure right here, like who helped produce it. So product development, Randy Falk. I believe he's the owner of NECA Toys. Sculpt and photography, George Djokovic. I hope I pronounced that right. Neo Bahal Studios. Fabrication, Roger Fernandez. Paint, John Wardell. Jeffrey Trapp. And prototype, TrueCast Studios. Packaging, Chris Longa. And the reason why I bring this up, I think this would be cool for other companies to do this as well, like give credit to who sculpted it and who photographed it. Like in the case of Hasbro, sometimes they'll do image artworks, and to their credit, they do credit David Nakayama, who does their artwork on some of the Marvel Legends packaging, but it'd be nice to see who sculpts the actual figures themselves. It's just something I thought that was nice, and I think NECA does this typically on most of their figures. All right, that's enough about the box art. Let's go and get Batman out of the box. All right, here's Batman out of the box, and let's get started with his accessories first. All right, so first accessory we're going to take a look at is his grappling gun, and this thing looks amazing, even by today's standards. So this was from NECA in 2016-ish, so this was pretty good. I do like that gold paint finish right there, and the cool thing right here is this little piece that comes with it, it actually pegs into this hole, and then this thing pegs into his utility belt. So that's an awesome attention to detail from NECA's part back then. So it just clips on like that. And then this piece clips onto his utility belt. And that's how it clips onto the back of the utility belt. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did see this from Shartimus Prime's review from back in the day. Sorry, you got some Batman butt going on here. But I think that's pretty cool engineering from NECA's part to implement that grappling gun getting attached to his utility belt. So that was pretty awesome. So he does come with these 2 additional Batarangs, and that's exactly why I had him on here instead of holding him, because they kept falling off or getting stuck to my hand. But they come with these 2 Batarangs, and one's labeled A and B. But basically they go on these 2 additional sets of hands that he comes with. It goes on his left hand, and you can see it has the Batarang holder right there. So you can easily just place it like so for that one, or the larger one. I would probably pose it with the larger one, to be honest with you, just because it would stick out more in toy photography shots. And then the other one is for his grappling gun. All right, now let's take a look at the figure itself, and we're going to start with the head sculpt. So if we zoom in a little bit here, you can definitely see the likeness to Christian Bale's Batman and how the suit looked in the first Batman Begins movie. I mean, the head sculpt looks great, in my opinion. It still holds up. It's just something about the eyes. They look kind of like buggy and like trippy, and like the mouth could have been painted a little bit differently, a little bit better, and a little cleaner, I would think. But overall, I think the head sculpt looks great. You can definitely see the details on the side of his mask right there. But overall, I think NECA did a fantastic job with the head sculpt. And then when looking at the rest of the figure, you can definitely see the pattern, the detail on the rest of his suit, the Batman logo right there. I think they did a fantastic job with the sculpt. Now, the thing is, they are single jointed though, so there's no double jointed elbows or no double jointed knees. They're single jointed, but the advantage of that on the knees is you can rotate them side to side. But there isn't any thigh swivel, which is fine because you can still kick the legs out and forward and backwards. And it does have a nice diaphragm cut right there. Now, these are NECA, and I believe there's a lot of people out there that say NECA is notorious for using like hard paint or plastic on their figures, so to heat them up. I'm not going to do all that, but the joints feel a little stiff, but it's fine though. I do like the detail and the pattern of the utility belt, and then again, like I mentioned before, I like the addition to attach the grappling gun on the belt. I think that's a nice touch on NECA's part. And then let's not forget the soft goods cape. I think this is a nice touch to adding soft goods cape on the Batman figure. You can drape it over like this, or you can have it folded up in the back like that. Now, this isn't the first time I've witnessed a cloth goods cape on a NECA figure, because I have the Homelander one that I reviewed earlier last year, but this cape looks great. And just to kind of show off how long and like how big this cape actually is, if I fold it all out like that, like that's insane. That's pretty cool. And there goes the grappling gun that just fell down. I do wish it was a wired cape, but this is NECA, and this was, I think at the time, like the $30 price point. So I wouldn't expect that on that price point of a figure. Another thing to mention, I do like how the mask, or the neck piece, I would say, it isn't like attached down, so it's not hindering the cape movement. Same thing goes for the back, so you can articulate the head side to side without it affecting the cape. All right, now we're going to jump right into size comparisons. And first size comparison, here is the NECA Real Toys Batman Begins Batman. Standing next to a couple other live-action McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman figures, we have Ben Affleck's Batman from the Snyder Cut Justice League and the Robert Pattinson Batman from the upcoming The Batman movie. And I think they kind of scale well with each other, except I'm not too sure about Robert Pattinson because he's a little bit taller than Christian Bale. I think in real life Christian Bale might be taller. I could be very wrong on that. Let me know in the comments below if I am or not. And seeing all these side by side, I wish I had picked up the NECA 89 Keaton Batman when I saw it at Toys R Us years back, just because that thing is going for a ridiculous amount on the aftermarket. But there is knockoff versions you can buy. It just doesn't look as nice. And it would be nice to see a bunch of Batmans on my shelf displayed together. And the reason why I think this NECA one works is because it's a 7-inch scale and it fits in with the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. And next size comparison, here he is standing next to more McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures from the upcoming The Batman movie. We have the Who Farted Side-Eye Penguin and Catwoman. And next size comparison, here he is standing next to more DC Multiverse live action figures from McFarlane Toys. We have the Suicide Squad's Peacemaker and the Target exclusive red and blue Superman. And I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago almost now, when the Zack Snyder Superman movie came out, I always thought, what would it look like if Christian Bale was in that universe as well? And they went head to head. Initially, when they came out with Batman vs. Superman, I thought Christian Bale's Batman would reprise his role. But nonetheless, we got Ben Affleck, who was pretty good. But still, it's surreal to see these two together because it would have been cool to see Christopher Nolan's Batman against Zack Snyder's Superman. Who do you think would win that fight? And last size comparison, here he is standing next to the first two NECA figures I've ever unboxed. We have the boys Starlight and Homelander, and I think they scale well with each other. And again, it is cool to see NECA implementing their figures with soft goods capes.
I'm Batman.
No, I'm Batman, and I'm looking to the side.
No, I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman. You're wearing hockey pads.
Wait a minute. Who farted?
Alright, so my overall thoughts on this figure is conflicting. It's conflicting because on one hand, I absolutely love this figure. I think it's amazing. On the other hand, it's kind of sad knowing that NECA will no longer make these types of figures in the 7-inch scale just because they no longer have that license, because it now belongs to McFarlane Toys. But I also would have loved to see what NECA would have done with this line. It's awesome because, one, the sculpt is fantastic. And the attention to detail on the accessories, too. Like, the fact that I can attach this grappling gun to his utility belt is so underrated, in my opinion. So a lot of attention to detail to not only the accessories, but the sculpting as well. Yeah, the head sculpt could be a little bit better, but overall I think the sculpting of the suit looks great. The soft goods cape is a perfect touch for this figure. The only thing it's lacking is, by today's standards, I should say, is the articulation. Yeah, there's no double jointed elbows or double jointed knees, but I can still get this in some dynamic poses for Christian Bale's Batman like he did in the movie. But other than that, I think this figure is perfect in my opinion and still holds up. And I don't know if any of y'all have this out there or you guys had it before, but to me it felt like a premium figure. And it would have been cool to see NECA make some more, like I mentioned. But yeah, I'm just kind of like rambling on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, YouTubers. What do you think about this figure? Did you have this? And would you have loved to see NECA make more DC figures? And do you think McFarlane Toys will ever tackle the Dark Knight Trilogy in terms of figures like the Joker or Christian Bale's Batman or even Bane? But yeah, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what y'all think. And like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Long the cape really is when you like expand it out, like it's pretty long out there, like, god damn it.